wondering what you've joined, you're in the Cute for Teens meeting. So hopefully you're in the right spot.
And that means it's Friday.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's true. That we always start with positive vibes because we're broadcasting on a Friday. So it's like,
Yeah.
always coming in here with good energy, I guess. Nice. I see people rolling in. Good deal. A quick look at the list, and there may be at least there's a couple names I don't recognize. So welcome if this is your first time. So Cute for Teams, basically this is Teams or M365 collaboration office hours, call it. We could also call it Ask Me Anything at AMA, but it's where you come to get with fellow Teams geeks who love to talk about Teams and collaboration topics, and come here with questions, come here with comments, or come here to just hear me and Stacy talk about, any and everything. So I'm Ricardo, she's Stacy. We're your hosts each week. So glad you made it. And aka.ms/cute4teens is where all the things are, including all the past episodes. I think today is episode 118, which is bananas. So good to see everybody here. Tell your friends, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. So as always, if you did come here with a burning question, feel free to use the chat. Feel free to come off mute. We're very informal. You can come off mute and just shout out your question. You can raise your hand. You can use the chat, all that good stuff. We're happy to help. So feel free to do that at any time, including now. Other than that, we're always trying to think about what's new, what's going on in Teams and M365 in general worth mentioning. Obviously, AI is the word of the day, so CoPilot, but also the fact that this audience may be a mix of commercial and government customers, so we stay aware of the differences between the two. I will say though, as we're trying to do more with CoPilot, and really even as a government customer waiting for the summertime, which is when we're expecting CoPilot stuff to start to hit. We do want to start talking about it, early, even before it's there, so that you're ready, right? So that you can have seen some things, can ask questions ahead of it, things like that. So, so don't be surprised to see more from us on that piece. It's good stuff there. Oh, and then while I'm thinking about it, throw up my demo environment. The other thing that is useful is always being able to show you hands-on when you do have questions using our environment. So let's go here and here. Yep. All right. Good deal. Did I miss anything in the chat? No, okay. Just got some happy Fridays in the chat. Good stuff. One topic I was thinking about, I usually just pull from stuff that happens to me during the week as I start thinking about, what to discuss on Friday. And one thing I wanted to mention, and I know it's doesn't get maybe not a lot of use in the government space sometimes, but Viva Engage, which it kind of is the evolution of what was Yammer. Is integrated into Teams, and I did want to talk about that for a little. And so even if you don't have access to Engage, based on a policy related to Yammer or something like that, I think it's still worth. It's some interesting concepts there. So if I come here over my ribbon, and there is Engage there. Now certainly Engage, again, given that it's evolution of Yammer, and Yammer, it's always been browser based. I mean, I can hit this from the browser as well, mobile apps as well, but it is integrated on the left ribbon here as well. So there's a couple things I want to mention, especially if you might be a former Yammer user, which as I was. So one, why would I use Engage? It was often the question I've got back in the day. It was, I've got SharePoint, I can talk to people there. Then it became, I've got Teams, I can talk to people there. The one thing I'll say is this is the one tool really built for that forum or bulletin style of interaction. And so the tools and tooling and UI is really, built for that. But the one thing that's added to this that adds a little bit additional flavor is storylines. So, and right there, I was going to explain what storyline is. It's actually right there. But in my words, it's your own personal bulletin board for yourself to post your own story. So, just like you might on any social media, but having a place to post your stuff and having that be discoverable by your peers and team members and other folks in your company is very interesting. And I've seen that also be used. Maybe I'm posting about something about me specifically, but I'm also posting about things from my team. Maybe a project I'm on that's got a lot of attention. Could be posted here. So it's your own personal. Obviously, communities is where somebody creates a community. Like all companies always there, but maybe they create a community for Project ABC, or in the case of us, a product like a Teams community, a CoPilot community. But again, storyline is like a community about you. And so I follow a lot of individuals on our side where I'm interested in their posts based on what they do and that kind of thing. And it just helps me keep up with what's going on with them. So I would say that if you haven't kind of been in the space since the Yammer days, that's probably one of the new aspects of Engage in general. But there's two things that, from Ricardo's perspective, as a former Yammer user, that I really like. One is the integration with Teams by way of that posts do show up, and I don't know if I wouldn't know how to demo this live, but those Engage posts can show up in your activity feed. One of the things I didn't like in the Yammer days was just how disconnected it was from Teams. It was either I'm in my Teams information area or I go over to the Yammer piece, but they didn't have a good connection. So now when I'm getting Engage messages in my feed and clicking on them and staying in Teams and I'm able to open it up there, it feels more integrated for sure. And with one click, I'm now over in a community that goes way beyond what Teams I'm in, right? Because that's the other kind of aspect of Engage and Yammer versus Teams, is much, much larger communities, usually broad across the spectrum. So, usually when I'm in a team, it's usually, as the name implies, very specific to team members or people in my org, let's say, but Engage kind of encourages very broad communities. So having that connection is useful, having that in the activity feed. I feel like I missed a lot of stuff in the Yammer days because I didn't have that integration, because I just spent all my time in Teams and would have to remember to go over to look at Yammer or turn on email notifications, which got lost as well. But the other, and Stacey, were you saying something?
Yes, I was.
I saw the mouth. I didn't hear the.
I have apparently 2 mute buttons and only disengaged one. So I just wanted to echo what you just said, that Teams is where I also spend all day, every day. And when my executive leadership, or even closer to me leadership, relied on email to get their information out to me, admittedly, I had a hard time keeping up with that. So Viva Engage really gave me a central location where I could pin it in Teams. I could have my Teams experience fully functioning with all of the functional work I was doing every day with my teams, while also belonging to these communities at the top level of Microsoft, down to the product level, down to the interest level, these communities that I plugged into right there in Teams. And when an executive or a director had something that was interesting to post and I needed to be aware of it, by them leveraging Viva Engage rather than email, 100% their message was received. I got the activity notification. I can click on it. It will open Viva Engage in Teams where I'm already working. And it's delivered in a way that's more visually interesting, more accessible just because of the nature of how I work these days. So Viva Engage being able to integrate so well and land the messages that I need to know when I need to know them is amazing. And it's part of the entire employee experience platform that Viva is. And I think it took the greatness of Yammer and made it even better. And tying it in with the whole Viva suite has been powerful because of that tight Teams integration.
Agreed. So yeah, just showing a little bit of the UI here for that, and like you said, it's you got a refreshing look, to it as well. That's helpful. One of the things that I tend to see when I go to a post, I know I put a medal there. Usually it's a like or something like that, but the Yammer world was kind of at least from an M365 perspective, was kind of that first place where the likes and whatnot were used. Now, of course, we use them in Teams, but even as Stacey was pointing out, things that might come in an email don't have that same feeling of engagement, which is one of the reasons why I think they added the reactions to emails too. Actually, if I can see that, which I don't know if you guys use. I use those. So something comes in, some email. This is a bad example, but some email from a person like this one, I guess. And, I will use this to hit like, just like I will, on a Yammer or Engage post or on a Teams post. The person gets, I think a lot of times they'll get an email actually saying, at least for the first few, saying someone has reacted to your email. But this is a nice way of seeing engagement for even an email, and are really pulling that kind of experience from things like Yammer. So I do, when I see a post, that's one of the things that my eye is usually drawn to, is how many likes or reactions and where they came from, because usually you can roll over them and see, who they're from. So I like that too. But one of my biggest things I like about Engage is that I'm in Teams, Engage or / Yammer community is there integrated, and the search box is integrated. And why is that a big deal? That's because, at least in our world, our Engage area has a ton of info. I mean, there are huge communities across products. If I'm trying to find out something, that's one of the places I stop, is Engage. And it does have its own search box. The search here is not searching Engage content. And in fact, the other area of search would be your M365 here. And I'm not sure that this even searches Engage content as well. I may or may because I don't see a filter for it, but I may need to check on that. But when I'm searching Engage, I usually search the Engage or the Yammer specific search box. And so to have it here is a big deal, because again, when I wanted to do a comprehensive search, it meant getting out of Teams, going over to my browser, opening up Yammer, doing a Yammer specific search there. So that's a big deal for me. And there is some subtle nuance differences in how you search and engage than how you might search in Teams. The interesting thing from a Viva perspective, Viva Connections is another thing that's kind of cool too. That's kind of the integration of your portal pages into Teams. But notice that I hope they add this to Engage, but in Connections, you notice the top search box becomes a Viva Connection specific search, which probably could bring you back. It looks like it's bringing back Teams results as well. I need this in my life for Engage, because as you can see, when I go to Engage, I'm back to a team specific top search box and a Engage specific side search box. So I'm not going to complain too much because at least it's there. But I would love to have this, so I can just have one place to remember, the top box always searches what I need kind of thing. But again, that's a big deal for me, is having this integration here. So then all of my stuff, my teams communities, my Engage communities, and my portals, all those things are now, in one spot, tightly integrated, not just a window, some kind of iframe into that stuff, but tight native integration. So I do really like that. So yeah, if you do have access to Engage and maybe have been wondering, how to use it, hopefully that helped a little bit. Again, if you're already in Teams and say, well, we do all our talking there, that does make sense. You may just find, though, that you can have some cross-team communities built here where people across teams can engage on something. That might be one reason to kind of go out there, or just from a reach perspective, because as you saw, the main community that's out there by default is the all company. So if there is something out there, worth posting for everyone to see, this would be the place to do it, other than, and to me, a safer place to do it than an email with the like all FTEs, the distribution list. I would be so scared to send that email to that mailing list. That would be crazy. So yeah, so that's just a little bit about Viva Engage for the uninitiated. As you can see, there are lots of other things in the Viva suite. Even if you consider yourself not really into Viva, you've probably been using or gotten emails related to Viva Insights, which used to be what was that? My Insights, or it used to be something without the Viva on it, and now I can't remember. I thought it started with an M, but whatever it is, it's the thing that's keeping.
Here I am talking again while I'm on mute.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like My Analytics or something?
That's it. My Analytics. Yep. So if that rings a bell, My Analytics, then that's what Viva Insights essentially is now, letting you know about your productivity and how your teamwork with other co-workers, that kind of thing. So you may have seen something in your inbox from Viva Insights telling you about that info, and again, that's got integration as well. So yeah, some good stuff there. So that might have been a nice little primer for you if you hadn't had a reason to check out Engage, or maybe it's not enabled in your organization right now. Hopefully that helped. And as you might expect, there are CoPilot integrations coming to those products as well. So you're not getting away from CoPilot if you thought that you might be able to. So good stuff. Any questions on that? I think Stacy, you asked if anybody had used it. I think maybe there was one thumbs up there. So, okay. And a question about emojis. When are we getting more together emojis?
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm not sure either. Those are fun, aren't they?
Yeah. I did hear rumors of custom emojis, or is that or custom reactions? I guess maybe that's the same. No, yeah, custom reactions is probably the better way to say that. I've heard rumors of that, so that would be interesting. And for those on video in the chat, they're doing high fives right now with the emojis. It's very cool. Is Viva Learning coming to GCC? Is a question in the chat. I well, I don't know the answer to that specifically. Certainly not when, but the question of if. I am pretty sure that is being worked on. So, there are some things that are like, nope, not planned for GCC. I don't think that's one of them. Let's see. Where can I get train the trainer training? That's a lot of T's. Train the trainer training for CoPilot.
So I have a good link I'll share in the chat for the adoption site. You scroll way down there. We have a community hub that we're offering some content for new CoPilot users. Even without CoPilot, you can learn a ton from going to those community hub events. So I'll share that link and you can register and attend anytime that works for you.
What's going on in you guys' world? I'll put this, grab this link, put it up on the screen just for the sake of, no, that's not right. Copy link, paste and go. So yeah, so this is the page Stacy was referring to.
Yep, and if you scroll quite a ways down, there's a community and events section. I think you passed it. Sorry, not all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit higher.
A lot of content in here.
Oh, it's tremendous, and it's gone through a recent update. There's community events. See that CoPilot Customer Hub training sessions with the sign up now link. You can click that, Ricardo, because it actually takes you to a page with 3 different sessions that have a variety of offerings over the next month that you can take advantage of. I think the offerings go out for 3 or 4 months, but those are some great places to start. In addition to that, if you are going to be part of a rollout of CoPilot or a pilot of CoPilot in your organization, there's some really great tools on that front adoption page for like a success kit that would be for sure interesting to anyone who's going to be part of a CoPilot rollout. Even higher there. Yeah, see that brand new CoPilot for M365 Success Kit. That's going to be a download link, and it'll give you all kinds of resources for anyone who's going to leverage that. And there's a brand new scenario library. I'll say that that scenario library does not contain government-centric topics yet, but I'm looking forward to when it does. I'm putting together some content on my own for the government sector that I'd like to see them integrate there, and I'm going to be working with the group to get that added. But it will give you some interesting ideas and scenarios from just a generic functional area standpoint. Particularly IT and HR would be relevant to government. I know there's marketing and sales that may not be, but you could certainly visit those scenarios and see what you could glean from them as you're pondering how your organization might benefit from M365 CoPilot. So April, what we know about CoPilot to the government sector is a very generic seasonal summer. So we are looking for, right now, we're tracking the GCC release of M365 CoPilot for this summer. And as we hear more, of course, you will hear more on this call. Yeah, see, Ricardo, that site has really gone through some fantastic updates in the last couple of weeks. And the amount of resources there is tremendous. And I personally have reviewed a vast majority of them. So I know that they are effective and can bring some value when you spend some time with them as you consider CoPilot.
One funny thing I'm learning about the CoPilot and AI space is that if your information is more than like 2 days old, you're out of date. So yep. To your point, I mean, I've been to the site before in the very near, past, and it didn't have this much stuff in it. So
yep, it went through a fantastic revamping on March the 7th. So it's only been out for a few days, but it really has been resonating with customers, and I'm excited that it's so rich in content.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Well, you guys are quiet today, but it's all good. Hopefully, what we talked through is helpful. For those that are first time, there are certainly some times where, the whole crowd is talking through, particular question, and we're happy to, keep that vibe going. So we want this to be informal. This isn't a place necessarily to just come hear our presentations, but ask questions and talk it through, talk it out with each other. So we appreciate you as a community, a Cute for Teams community, and glad you could make it to another one. I will keep the webpage updated with the links for the next session. And and then as new things, hit, we'll try our best to bring them to you so you can say, I heard it first at Cute for Teams.
Love that.